Coming up in the LCS preview show, we take a look at the playoff picture, look ahead to Worlds, and provide all the info you need to buff your fantasy game.
The LCS preview show does not actually guarantee fantasy points. All advice given is the express opinion of the casters or a bronze level player they paid to write this segment. Actual results may vary. Riot Games is not responsible for your personal fantasies. Nerf Teemo.
And on that note, the LCS preview show starts right now.
What an insane fight.
Could be from Chase. Okay.
Triple kill for double it. The quadra kill is right in his eyes, and he completely zeroes him out for the quadra kill retribution takedown.
That's the quadra. He's looking for 5. He gets it. That's a pentakill. Reckless with a pentakill in the summer split.
And Reckless has just been part of everything here.
Welcome to the LCS preview show, everyone. I am Rivington Bism III, and it's good to be out on the prow of this ship that is the League Championship Series, along with my own Kate Winslet, Mr. Joshua Jet Leesman.
You might want to rethink that metaphor, but it's good to be here.
Yeah, either way, my heart will go on, Jet.
Yeah. Anywho, we're both glad to be here as the teams are teetering on the edge of the playoffs with Worlds just around the corner.
That they are, and there's a lot of ground to cover, so let's get right to it. First up, it's going to be a look back at some of the highlights from the European LCS in Week 9. We'll begin with the 11-9 Super Hot crew who faced off against the 10-10 Rocket. It didn't take very long to get into the meat of this one. Just 1 minute in, there's a bada bing on the Kasing.
One of your earlier first bloods, but Jankos came around the back, Rocket came right up the gut. Who waits in that brush still? It's just a misinformed play, and it cost him first blood.
Really some unfortunate ways to start the game. Here you get a 2-for-1, but it looked like it was going to be all in favor of Rocket when things started off here. As the team comes around the corner, Jankos getting away. You're like, oh, this is great.
Rocket was really hoping to come back in the game right here because you can see they're down about 6,000 gold, but just the way the fight ended up crumbling. Yes, they picked up Kasing, but he's just a Thresh support. The 2 kills were much more important, and they take this for the victory.
Selfie always coming up big in the late game, really helping Super Hot crew to come up big, and a double kill on Orianna 23 minutes in is only an item threshold. She loves to hit. Next up, we're looking at Gambit versus Alliance. Diamond returning on Rengar this time. Shook on the Riven.
Yeah, this was a nice style pick by Shook. Even though he did it 2 times this week, just kind of pulling out the new jungler against Diamond, the guy who usually used to innovate the jungle. Added insult to injury here. Diamond goes in when he shouldn't have.
Another one. They see the tidal wave views and they feel the waters are safe to dive in.
Yeah, definitely not. And Rengar can see everyone. That's why that was so perplexing by Diamond.
And just look, this is how it feels. It feels good to be that fed on Riven. Shook had some great games in the ULCS on that channel.
Takes the Syndra ult just because he can. Alliance crushed.
Yeah, crushed and broke their losing streak thanks to Shook coming up huge. Everybody in All-Star on that team coming up towards the end of the split. Up next, Copenhagen Wolves and their 2 new members went up against SK Gaming. Familiar face there.
I recognize Broken Chart. He was in the NALCS earlier this split, but this early gank looked very good for SK early on, but Broken Chart had other things in mind.
He's the guy that never gives up. The odds look against him, but there is still a kill in his eyes. Here comes the artillery fire from Xerath, but wait, here comes a shield that he knew in the communication he was going to get.
Just an absurd amount of damage by the 2 new guys on the team get spiked down there, and Woolite, Copenhagen Wolves always has good AD carry.
These are some of my favorite plays, where the Tristan just gets to run around and say, king me, where's my resets?
Yeah, even with the hook, it was too little, too late by N-rated. He hooked to his own demise right there.
Soren and Broken Shard, some great play, turning around a bot lane gank to snowball a Copenhagen Wolves to their win against SK. Next up, we're looking at Gambit versus Fnatic. These 2 teams going head-to-head, and the Rammus was brought up this game.
Yeah, the jungle picks were a throwback to Season 2. Rammus, Maokai. You know, Fnatic didn't make it to Worlds in Season 2, so maybe this Rammus pick was going to be great. They do get first blood with it.
Diamond beating his head off the top laner there to get the first kill, but it's going to be off a wall continuing after this. The game did not go the same way for him.
No, after that gank, though, Fnatic did start pulling ahead in gold, and you could really see with this gank, even with Diamond putting a lot of his points in Powerball for more damage, they still didn't have enough damage, and they get caught out in a 2v3 and just picked off.
And this is just a 3-for-0 overall in the end, coming in very strong. The Aatrox picks that continuously come in from Soaz as he diversifies in the top lane, bringing that out continuously. Really great play all around. And
this was fun.
Reckless. The name is true to the guy. When you play Reckless, you get that Reckless advantage to get out like this.
Yeah, Reckless was like, Yellow Star, you're a god for the Lantern. Let's not forget about Peke, who threw the shield and the heal on him before that Lantern could get pulled in. Still got to feel pretty good to get away from that.
Very nice double kill to clean up that one as Fnatic takes down Gambit. And with just 2 weeks remaining in the summer split, here's a look at the standings for Europe. Alliance patched up their issues while Fnatic remained on point as both teams went 2-0 last week, keeping them in the number 1 and 2 positions. Multiple changes have been happening in the middle of the table as Millennium have improved to 3rd place, while SK Gaming have slid down into 5th. The Super Hot Crew and Rocket occupy the other slots in the standings, while the Copenhagen Wolves and Gambit are almost certainly facing a trip to the promotion tournament. So to get a closer look at what's been happening in the European LCS as the teams head into the home stretch, let's bring in the man whose accent makes everything sound smarter. How's it going, Quick Shot?
Pretty good, Riv. Things are heating up in the summer split, and it's hell of a warm here in Cologne as well.
I believe you. So right now, Fnatic looks like they might be the best team in the European LCS as they enter Week 10 on an incredible hot streak.
Well, yeah, Fnatic are just peaking at the right time. They hit their stride as we're approaching playoffs. They have been dominating everybody for the last 3 weeks. It started during Week 7. It was a super week, and Fnatic just seem to come alive. They're firing on all cylinders. They've taken down every single team in the league between then and now. And as a team, they're adjusting to patch as well. They're evolving with the meta game extremely effectively. And I think we need to give some props to Aranea. He has joined the team as the analyst, and he's definitely helping Fnatic get more prepared for each game of each week. Truthfully, if we step back and look at Fnatic, they are just a world-class team. They've had a stable roster for multiple seasons. They have got extremely talented players in every single role, and they're actually looking to break their winning streak record that they set in spring of 2013 last year. They're currently on an 8-game winning streak, and if they take down Alliance today, they will equal their 9-game streak from last year. They will need to beat Millennium tomorrow to set a brand new record. But regardless of that, whether or not Fnatic actually set that record, they already have 3 LCS titles secured under their belt. They've set their eyes on Gamescom, on the summer split, to look to make it a quadra, and I'm not sure if anybody can stop them.
And a big part of Fnatic's recent success have been the play of their bot lane. Last week, Reckless has completely wrecked the Copenhagen Wolves, going 18-0-3 on Vayne. Not only were those 18 kills the second most in LCS history for one game, but it set a record for the most kills without a death as well. In addition to his perfect performance, Reckless also joined one of the most exclusive clubs in the LCS, the Penta Club. Now that his dues have been paid with a Penta kill against the Wolves, he joins the ranks of Wild Turtle, Bjergsen, Alex Each, Kopp, Shifter, and Alltech as the only players to score a Penta in the regular season LCS match. So, that was the past. And this week, Reckless and Fnatic will try to take back a share of first place from Froggen and Alliance in our BF Game of the Week.
Oh, it definitely is a big game, and it is for multiple reasons. I want to start with Alliance, because they're the team that's desperately trying to be the first team that is not named Fnatic to actually win a split. Undoubtedly, Fnatic are kings of Europe, and it is Alliance that's looking to dethrone them. Today's match would not only be a victory against Fnatic for Alliance, but it would also further the distance in the tables. Alliance would actually own the head-to-head 3-1 in the eventuality of any of those tiebreaker scenarios that we know and love here in Europe. But on the other side of the coin, a win for Fnatic would tie that head-to-head up. It would give Reckless and crew a share of first place for the first time all split. Fnatic have not been in first at all, and that tied head-to-head would allow Fnatic to set up a tiebreaker match if it was needed at the end of the next Super Week. Anyways, I want to look back at the last 3 games that these teams have played in the summer splits. And if you compare their KDAs, things are very close, with Fnatic having a slight edge, 3.93 to 3.28. Don't forget that Fnatic gifted Alliance a win with that very bad call in the base race all the way back in Week 4. And then just something else that I do find interesting is that 8-game winning streak we talked about. Alliance had an 8-game winning streak in spring earlier this year. It was broken by Fnatic. Now, Alliance could get revenge and break Fnatic's 8-game winning streak if they pick up a victory here today. I think Alliance and Fnatic, they are both just in top shape. They are looking better than they have all year long. This could be the most exciting game of the split. And as I think it is just the two best teams in Europe right now. Before I go, I do think this is also a taste of what could be potentially the summer split grand final from Gamescom. So I'm extremely excited to see the game later in the day, and I'm hoping it's going to deliver as well.
As always, thank you for all the information, Quick Shot. We'll definitely be watching both you and that match later today. So while Fnatic and Alliance are fighting for first, this week there will be a couple of European teams fighting for their playoff lives. Gambit has never been out of the bottom 3 for the entire split. And with 2 more losses, 2 wins by Roccat, or a combination of 1 win and 1 loss by both teams, they will be sent to the promotion tournament. The Wolves are also in a dire position. At 7 wins and 15 losses, they could also be eliminated from the playoff contention if they lose both of their matches, and Roccat goes 2-0. And interestingly enough, we could learn Gambit's fate after the first game of this week's European LCS action. Gambit's playoff hopes are on the line as Thursday's matches kick off with Roccat versus Gambit. Like we said, a win by Roccat and Gambit is out. And then, of course, there's our BF game of the week, Fnatic battling out Alliance. On Friday, we've got 4 more matches, including a showdown between SK Gaming and Roccat, as both teams look to stay out of that relegation zone. Now, during Week 10, all of the LCS action will be played on the 4.12 patch. So let's turn it over to Jat, who can break down what the changes mean for the LCS.
And thanks, Rib. The 4.12 patch introduces a few tweaks that will impact the LCS. First of all, Ahri and Alistair did receive some buffs. Let's start with Ahri. She hasn't been able to keep up in a lot of ways. The Assassins haven't been that big with 80 carries becoming stronger, but this will actually help her wave clear to get to the point where she can assassinate. Orb Deception, cheaper, better ability power ratio, which means it will be better at wave clear. Also, Alistair, he's seen very small amounts of played support, mainly as a counter to Leona, but this might bring him into the mainstream. Pulverize, reduce mana cost. Headbutt, reduce mana cost. Big thing, his ultimate has 70% damage reduction at his first rank, and it did cost him the double damage to monsters from his trample passive, but Alistair players aren't worrying about that. They're happy about the changes. And another change was the addition of jungle timers, actually. The main thing this will impact is the precision at which teams arrive at major objectives. Previously, if teams had Dragon or Baron timers, there was some aspect of bookkeeping as well. They had to relay the information. Not everyone on the team knew exactly when it would spawn. That changes with these jungle timers. Assuming the team has vision of the buff as it dies, the next spawn of the buff could lead to some explosive team fights, as both teams will know the exact moment that that buff respawns, and they should be able to test it with more precision. But next up, let's actually talk about champion changes this week. One will take a champion out of the league, the other will put a champion back in. First up is Lucian. He had some major gameplay changes in 4.12, so he will actually be out of the LCS this week. And this may have a substantial impact on the 80 carry champion pool. Lucian has been a 73% pick, even if he's fallen off in the last few weeks, across the LCS this split. Expect to see even more Kog'Maw, Trist, Jinx, and Twitch this week as 80 carries adjust to not having Lucian. But he steps out, guess who steps back in? Shen. He has actually been disabled in the LCS since the 4.5 patch, which was 3 months ago due to an issue with his ultimate. And since he's been gone for so long, we'll see if teams remember how to use him, or if he even fits into the current playstyle of teams. My prediction, I think we will see Shen in the future, just not this week. He always finds a way back into team comps based on his utility. But let's actually turn from the patch to the Fantasy LCS. Studs, duds, sleepers, and alerts coming out of Week 9 and Week 10. First, though, let's take a look at the studs. Creaton, 71 points. This guy has been a top performer all split, as has Reckless, and nothing was different last week with that pentakill. 64 points is actually low when you consider how many he had in that first game. Also, Quas, big performance. Top laners do not score huge amounts of points often. 62 points is huge considering he was only estimated for 27. Let's actually turn to some duds from guys who had been performing very well. 2 COG players make this list. Aphromoo, mid-season MVP by the preview show here, 20.7 points is not a performance you expect when you have such a powerful support on your roster. Dexter as well, high risk, high reward play style, also leads to some failures sometimes, 19.3 points. And Dyrus, the pillar of consistency for TSM, falls flat here, only getting 16.7 points. But looking ahead, we got to take a look at some of the sleepers. Overpow, Rocket had a tough Week 9, losing both games, but the team has been surging, and Overpow should be a solid pick in points as they face Gambit and SK. SK's on a slide, remember. The Super Hot Crew as well has the same competition. Mr. Rallitz is a strong pickup because he pretty much always gets decent points as 80 carries, even more so against this competition. And we have to call out Voyboy as well, versus Counterlogic Gaming and Evil Geniuses, two teams that Curse have actually excelled against, and Voyboy has been putting up huge numbers if you've been keeping track of him. So if you have him, definitely play him. And there's some alerts you need to pay attention to as well. Glebe, he has been benched in case you missed the news. We'll discuss it in detail later, but in the meantime, make sure he is out of your starting lineup as well. Cutie Pie, he's playing a Red Hot Cloud9 and a Complexity team that he's actually done really poorly against. Against Complexity, Cutie Pie has twice as many deaths as he does kills. Does not translate well into fantasy. And N-Rated is on SK right now, who is in a slide. Plus, support players with losing teams generally just have really poor performances. But with those fantasy tips in mind, it should improve your week drastically in the standings, because that's the important thing about the...
Whoa. Now wait just a second, Jat. Isn't there a matter of the bet from last week that we need to settle?
Yeah, maybe there is, Claky D. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to. The bet where I was right because Curse did so well in fantasy.
No, I mean the bet where I was right. And this time, 56% of the tweets out there backed me up.
Ooh, look at you with the numbers. 56% of the tweets. Who cares about the numbers of when Curse had more points? Ooh. That music is lovely, by the way. It really helps. Anyway, I did not forget about this. Let it be said,
slow down, Jack.
Flaky,
Let's slow down.
that I am a man of my word.
Woo.
You know,
You better be happy about this
Look
because
at you look good.
I did actually win the bet, I would have to say. And for some reason, the previous show staff thought the tweets should be open until yesterday, when really the only people getting tweets were all the people you went around to were like, let's vote for Claky D, let's make Jet wear this shirt. Anyway, there it is.
Yes, just one step closer to world domination.
Goodbye, Claky. Now, it's time to go behind the scenes and hear what the players wish you couldn't hear until now. That's right, it's time for All Chat.
I can't believe he's playing a trackball, to be honest.
Doesn't it feel bad to losing on someone who has a trackball?
Yeah.
So I'll make sure we don't lose.
Do you know what I want today, guys?
Yeah.
A win?
No. Sushi.
Are you guys ready? Yeah.
Ready?
Ready?
Happy birthday
to
you.
Okay, Dexter.
Good job.
Good job.
We can end.
Okay, we can. Thanks, Dexter. You guys are too busy singing happy birthday to someone.
It was worth it.
So clapping wins your lane?
Yep.
Why aren't you clapping? There you go.
Oh yeah, we do the ritual. You remember season spring split?
Oh yeah.
Hold hands. Come on.
Wasn't that when we went 0-7?
On me.
Coming. I'm running.
Oh shit, you're dead.
No, you're not.
Yellow man, what a god.
What is true power? That's what I will show you, man.
Baron's up, Ballet. Baron's up. I got you. Go. High chance there. Baron. Do I have to defend bottom? I'll defend bottom. Okay. Yo, are you okay? Whoa! Nice. No, back.
Nice.
That's the difference between life and League. There's not one path. There's not one lane.
There's 3 paths in League.
Yeah. Well.
And remember, you can find extended versions of All Chat on the LOL Esports YouTube channel. That's even more behind-the-scenes moments of delightful for your ears. Last week, the European players kicked it into gear, and we had 3 new champions make their summer debut. So let's check out the champion countdown. The Riven became the newest champion to grace the Rift as Shook picked her up against Gambit and went 7-0-3 on the Exile. But she wasn't the only new face making a splash this summer in the LCS pool party. Cyanide also put down roots as Maokai, and Diamond rolled out Rammus as well in Week 9. That'll bring us to 69 total champions so far this split, and we're still off the curve from the 85 we saw by Week 10 in the spring. So now we'd like to tip our hat to the tweeter who correctly picked Riven as the next champion that we would see this summer. Nice work at another MCLP. Great prediction and proper hashtag control. 2 things we absolutely love. We also love seeing the first Rammus ever in LCS history last week, And while you didn't technically win by that tweet, I have to give props to the people who not only mentioned tweeting Rammus, but also said that Diamond would be the pro to play him. Congratulations, fans and the Armadillo. We heard your tremors loud and clear. There are still 2 more weeks in the split where we might see some champions for the first time this summer. So tweet us your predictions at LOL Esports, along with the hashtag LCS preview. Remember those 2 things. Guess correctly, and you could live in infamy as part of the LCS preview show. Now let's take a look back at the champions and the pros who played them as we check out the North American LCS action from week 9. First up, it's going to be the 5-15 Evil Geniuses versus the 13-7 CLG. A lot of people had just how this was going to end in their mind already.
I mean, remember when this game started, it was last place versus first place, so everyone thought CLG would roll over them. EG did have other things in mind right here.
They did. It started off early. Rush Hour putting a traffic jam in the bottom lane. They were able to take down. Altec transfers back here. But CLG thought getting Rush Hour going was all they needed.
It was a first pick Kog'Maw, and Twisted Fate did not have his day in this one. EG opened up a pretty big lead, which led to this desperation fight by CLG. Again, Link can't get anything done.
Even when CLG is behind in gold, they still go for these all-out fights, and EG lulls them into that false sense of security we hear Crepo talking about, and they reset the fight for a nice 3-0.
Yeah, you can really see how fast Altec was with that blood boil on him. It left nowhere for CLG to run. And EG was pumped after that win.
Huge key team fight to take down the game. 6-15 EG coming out of that one. Then Counter Logic Gaming looked to pick up a win as they faced off against the first place LMQ.
Yeah, and this is going to be a pretty long highlight because this was a thrilling game.
Barons against LMQ. We saw this all the way back in Super Week 1. It's a bad idea.
I saw Hotshot GG's reaction video to this one. He did not appreciate that Baron play.
All the players as well. You almost know that's when that sinking feeling hits for everybody because the fans felt it as well.
7,000 gold swing from that one. And then this just became an Ackerman highlight reel after this. He makes this play into another one, but this outplay was just fantastic by Ackerman.
Couldn't believe the positioning and the ease of ability use on his skills. Very, very well played in the peace of mind there.
Yeah, and it's not completely apparent here, but he teleported to base and immediately came back to make this play.
Yeah, there was hardly any lag time between these 2 plays. He instantly healed and instantly came back with some shock and awe.
Yet, with all that being said, CLG does not give up without a fight. Doublelift pulls a quadra kill out of nowhere, but this was probably the most shocking moment of the match, right?
It was one of the biggest. The first quadra kill that Doublelifts would get to keep things going. But wait, he goes down as well. Ackerman's been getting big.
Yeah, just such amazing play. And then here you think CLG's on their deathbed. There's no way. Oh, wow, another quadra kill? Really? Doublelift. How fed is he going to get? Could CLG actually turn this one around?
And with 2 quadra kills, you're going to be able to make some moves. You're going to be able to dictate some moves, right?
Yeah, how often do you get 2 quadra kills by the same guy and don't win the game? Here you can see Doublelift max items, gets a little bit overconfident. Pay attention to Xiao Xiao and the amount of damage he puts on a Doublelift in this fight. A blue card, followed by what? Bam. Just completely disappeared. And that was game.
An easy push through after that for LMQ to take the game. CLG struggling a bit last week. We'll see if they can pull it around coming up in Week 10. And here are where the teams in North America currently stand at the start of Week 10. LMQ has surged ahead of the pack and now hold a comfortable 2-game lead in first place.
Yeah, but right behind them we have 3 teams knotted up for second as Cloud9, CLG, and TSM all have matching records, with Dignitas just 1 win behind them.
And earlier this week, Team Solomid announced that they were making a roster change, replacing Glebe in the support role with Lustboy, formerly of South Korea's CJ Entis Blaze.
Yeah, and this is a huge risk for TSM, as there is only 2 weeks left before the playoffs. Clearly, TSM thought they were vulnerable with Glebe at support and needed change quickly. You only replace a player with 2 weeks left in the season if you are in desperation mode. But with that being said, they picked a veteran with a pedigree of success to add to their roster. If TSM were to have done this at the beginning or even the middle of the season, it would be looked at as a fantastic move. But now it's a gamble, and it could pay off with a trip to Worlds, or it could fall apart with a poor showing at the North American playoffs.
And while Team Solomid is reloading for their playoff run, as we saw in last week's highlights, CLG shot blanks. They have dropped into the second place pack where they currently are tied with Cloud9 and TSM for an all-important playoff bye.
Yeah, and out of the 3 teams vying for the second playoff bye, I do believe there is a stronger contender. But before we choose one, let's first take a look at some of the facts. Each one of these teams hold a winning record over one of the others. Cloud9 owns a record over CLG, CLG over TSM, and then TSM actually owns it over Cloud9. So the next 2 weeks won't just be about securing wins for these teams, but securing the head-to-head tiebreaker advantages or eliminating them against their rivals. So which of these teams is the strongest? First, we need to take a look at TSM. As we just discussed, they have added Lustboy as their new support. If we look at history, mid-season support changes have paid dividends in the past. In 2013, Bloodwater joined Vulcan to much success, and Daydreamin' joined what was then known as GGU, and they went all the way to second place in the playoffs. However, there are only 2 weeks left in the season. Add that to the fact that TSM is only 3-9 against the top 5 teams in NA, and they're the least likely, I think, to finish second. Now, on to CLG. Besides having one of the best supports in the game, Counterlogic Gaming has one other advantage over TSM. They've already played their last game of the summer against LMQ, and it is a legitimate advantage to not have to play the #1 team in the North American LCS again. But the team that I think has the best chance of taking at least second place is Cloud9. After a shaky start to the summer, the meta has shifted once again to standard lanes, and Cloud9 solo laners have started to return to their spring split form. Balls in particular looks like the most dominant top laner in the league once again, which means bad news for the rest of the LCS. And honestly, this has been the most competitive split in NALCS history, and this close battle at the top of the standings is a perfect example of why this summer has been so damn exciting.
And Dignitas is just 1 game behind those second-place teams and still hoping to climb the standings, of course. With competition at an all-time high in the NALCS, ever wonder what separates the pros from the average Joes? Our guest correspondent Laserbeam set out on a quest to find the secret of success.
Being good at League of Legends is no easy task. It requires precise hand-eye coordination, nimble fingers, and a brilliant mind. However, to be professional requires something different, something secret. But what is this secret? Some would say hard work, others camaraderie. Maybe it's Hot Pockets, the cheeseburger flavor, I don't know. But what I do know is, I'm going to find out. I sat down with Dignitas to reveal the elusive edge to professional success. How many hours a night do you sleep?
8. 7 to 8.
Not bad. Follow-up question. What do you dream about?
Ooh, man. I dream about a lot of things. Like, I actually don't dream about anything now that I think about it.
How many right clicks can you do in a minute?
Maybe 500.
Damn. Time. Is this mouse even regulation? What are your pregame rituals?
My pregame ritual is I either take a dump in the C9 or EG room.
I'll say a word. You say a word or phrase that first comes to mind.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm not ready though.
Okay, how long do you need?
Okay, now I'm ready.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. Dignitas.
Great. Fantastic. Superb. Outstanding.
Keep going.
I can't think of anyone.
That felt good. Secret.
I'm not gonna tell you my secret.
Okay. Okay. Secret.
You'd like to know, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would.
The secret is...
Oh, I'll tell you my secret. Come a little closer.
You gonna tell? Okay.
Every time we win, we win.
I didn't find the secret I was looking for. Anxiety began to take over. I was scared. Scared that I would never unearth the secret to being a pro. Until. Sometimes, when you least expect it, fate hits you like an infected cleaver to the face. Hand warmers! That's it! The hand warmer was invented in 1923 by Japanese inventor Nishi Matoba to keep hands comfortable and at optimal performance temperature. Because of the pro team's continuous hand warmer usage, they're constantly increasing their hands' blood flow and circulation, resulting in a faster reaction time and a higher creep score. In every sport, innovation spontaneously occurs. And when it does, it advances the level of gameplay. In football, it was the forward pass. In basketball, it was the slam dunk. And in baseball, it was steroids. Kudos to the LOL pros for discovering that warm hands bring great success. This isn't an opinion, it's science. This is Laser Beams for 3 minutes.
Awesome stuff. And hand warmers are actually the secret for the preview show as well, in case you've been wondering.
Oh, that's what those are for. They're your hands. I get it. That explains so much. So speaking of warming up, I'm going to go ahead and put that down. The North American LCS will turn up the heat this Saturday. as they kick off their Week 10 matches. Their matches begin with LMQ versus Complexity, and then later in the day, Cloud9 will try to fend off Dignitas, who will be looking for a win to climb those rankings.
Yeah, and Sunday will begin with EG taking on Curse, followed by a top-of-the-table battle between Cloud9 and LMQ.
And it's nearly time for the European LCS to kick off their games, but let's take a moment to look back at the edge of your seat plays from Week 9. I know I want to, or as Reckless can now call them, the Penta.
And coming in at number 5, Ackerman Gravis goes into overdrive.
Oh, wait a minute! Oh my God, the home guard Ackerman comes in, and he wants to share a cup with Double Lift. Oh, look, you see how he body slammed through the wall to dodge the chompers? Man, Fat Man reflexes.
And at number 4, we welcome the new Nidalee to the LCS.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Straight under the turret, tries to 1v1 again. Gonna throw it on the shoulder. Oh, he gets the auto attack and it just floats along. So this is what that new Nidalee looks like, huh?
At number 3, Yellowstar offers safe passage to Reckless.
Diamond does get in there with the stun. Taunt will go in
Nick
as
can
well.
kill him.
Stun comes out from Nick and Reckless. Is he going to go down? There's a protection from Oriana. Oh, the lantern! He took the lantern. He managed to get away, and they get the shutdown on Nick. Diamond goes down as well. And would you believe it? Reckless there with hardly any health. He punches the air in celebration there. Yellowstar again coming up big to save his life.
Coming in at number 2, Ackerman puts an end to Double Lift's excitement.
Oh, wow, whoa! Vasily, he needs to use the fast fingers. Both summoners to get out of that one alive. Oh! The
Great
sniper! Double Lift hits it! Can he get excited enough? The rest of the team is hit. Double Lift has put himself now in a 2v1 situation. Another hit! Triple kill for Double Lift. The quadra kill is right in his eyes. The zap hits the backside of Ackerman. He is going to be going down. Tries to hit up Double Lift. And he completely zeroes him out for the quadra kill retribution takedown.
I cannot believe Ackerman killed Double Lift right there.
And our number 1 play in this week's Penta was a Penta.
Their sentence goes out, connects with Youngbuck. Tower's being secured in the background, and Youngbuck is going to get dashed on. Chum the Waters connects on Woolite, the best target possible. The exhaust was used on Peke, so damage was reduced. First kill secured by Reckless. We do see that's a double kill as he sidesteps the Cocoon, looking for the triple.
One more.
Reckless has got a triple. He's looking for broken shot. That's the quadra. He's looking for 5. Tower's down on the back line. Reckless may get the penta. He gets it. That's a pentakill. Reckless with a pentakill in the summer split.
So good. Still have 2 weeks left for more Pentas. I'm sure somebody can grab one. Remember, you can always head over to LOLesports.com and find the preview shows home at the top of the page.
Yeah, and that's where you can relive the glory days of our past episodes by watching them all over again.
I know I do. If only we sold Claky D Was Right shirts there as well.
Yeah, sure. That'd be great.
We're about to close out another installment of the LCS preview show, but first up, we would like to address something. Last week, we took a look at Tabs' recently underwhelming performances. Apparently, Tabs took issue with our critique, and today we want to clear the air. We did name Tabs as our midseason MVP, and for good reason. He has proven that he can be the hero that Alliance needs and deserves. So, we salute you, O King of the Keys, in our last hit.
But that was a great